Vincent, good morning.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, how are you? Yeah.
Good. I took your advice, and I didn't have any coffee, and I meditated. But I worked out the best way to do it was to do it in bed. So I basically stayed in bed for 2 days. And it kind of meant that I couldn't get to the coffee machine, and it was easy to meditate in bed. But what I found was I started to self-harm in the biblical sense. But I'm out of bed now, so it's all good.
Okay. Well, thanks, Vincent. It's really good. I was hoping we would. Yes, these are all things we will obviously need to come back to. Being in bed for 2 days,
Yes.
Not having coffee, which would explain being in bed for 2 days, and then obviously
Yes.
the self-harm in the biblical sense, and
Yes.
the implications of biblical. But we'll come back. But before we do, I just want to thank you for just coming back to the usual preliminaries. I just want to make sure. Thank you for sending through the photo. So I assume that you are on the couch, prone, as we discussed, and thank you for sending through the photo as we discussed.
Yes.
Can I ask? That was great, and we'll let this one slide. But can I ask in future that you have the newspaper, which I asked you to have, to evidence that this is today's photograph? Can you have the newspaper, closer to the camera, or have a higher resolution camera so that I can see the date of the newspaper? Because it was very hard to. I'll be honest, it was very hard to make out the date on the newspaper. Now, but you have to make sure that the newspaper doesn't obscure you, so it doesn't. Look, I don't want to belabor the point, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So just please, in future, make sure that both, the date and you on the couch are clearly visible in the photograph before we have these sessions. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, I could do that. Yes. But I usually don't read the daily newspaper. Was the weekend newspaper, so it's like a few days old always.
Well, and to be honest, I couldn't make out the date because of the way you took the photo. But again, as I said, look, let's not belabor the point. If you have to pop out before the session and buy a newspaper, but please do make sure that the date of the newspaper is visible in the photo as you are in a prone position, and I will assume in good faith that you will remain in that position through the session, and that's very important. But let's move on. So a couple of things. I mean, you mentioned obviously we'll come to this. Being in bed, not having coffee, meditating. That's great. We'll come to that. On the question of harm and self-harm. So I just wanted to check in. You haven't harmed anyone?
No, no one. I haven't harmed anyone.
And you haven't. And when we talk, I just wanted to, because last time you mentioned, something about walking into a door and stuff, like things like that, or even like stubbing your toe on the foot of the bed, which I don't know if you've ever done, but it's horrible, it's one of the worst things you can do. But it doesn't qualify in the strict definition of self-harm. Like it's an accident, and so.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing about walking into the door was, and I sort of mentioned it, I felt like I was pushed.
Well, and that's what I wanted to come back to, but to the extent that you haven't sort of deliberately walked into a door, or even to the extent that stubbing a toe, you haven't deliberately stubbed your toe or kicked the bed or anything like that. You haven't gone out and sort of done the primal scream, as they call it, the sort of and then sort of throw things around, and you haven't done any of that, right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I haven't done that. But I do feel like if something does hurt me, someone else has caused it.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. It's just this thing I have. Because I wouldn't do it myself, but someone else has done it. Is that paranoid?
Well, look, that's there's a whole can of, well,
can of what?
But we definitely. I'm gonna note that we definitely need to come back to that. But there's one thing on my list of things to possibly come back to.
Yes.
There was something that came up, and again, these are just. Think of them as. I don't know, like placeholders. Like at some point, maybe something else will come up that will be relevant, or maybe when there's when we sort of, I don't know, run out of things to talk about, we can come back to this. But there was one thing that came up in our previous chat, which I thought would be worth us just noting for now, and just sort of just having as a thing that's there, and we can just observe it. Sam, be quiet. Just observing it as a like almost like as an object, sort of like, hey, what's that all about? And it's like, hey, I wonder, and then coming back to it, and maybe coming back to it again. So, and there was a thing that when I went through my notes when we were discussing the thing about ancient Greece and.
Oh yeah.
And I just happened to mention in passing that one of the things that used to happen in ancient Greece was that they had these sports festivals where boys used to wrestle naked, and you said, and it was reflexive, spontaneous, you said, well, as you do. And I was sort of taken aback. Like, at first I thought, are you directing that at me? And I thought, no, obviously not, because But and then I thought, well, is that a sort of a? Are you kind of? Is that a? Are you sending a? Is I know your relationship with a partner, and she's feminine, as you said before, as we discussed in a previous call. And then I thought, is that maybe a sort of a cry for help of sorts, but again, I don't want to belabor. I don't want to belabor the point. I'm just saying it's something for us maybe to come back to at some stage.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Look, can I be honest?
That sounds to me like a rhetorical question. Of course, this is a very, very safe environment. That's the purpose of these sessions. You should. I want to say you must, but that's wrong. You should. You should feel comfortable enough to be honest. Yes, of course.
Well, I just feel like I know we're sort of just at the start of our therapy journey, but I feel like even from this get-go, there's a whole lot of things piling up, like placeholders, cans, all these things that we're going to get to. And I feel like we kind of got to get to them, but we never get to them. They just feel like there's a whole lot of stuff piling up, and it's piling up, and it's piling up. And I don't know, do you know what I mean? Like, lying in bed, lying prone, placeholders, cans, all this stuff just keeps, like, I don't know what to, wrestling, I don't know what to do.
Yes, look, Vincent, I hear you. I can almost feel your pain as you're speaking. Because we're being trained in the art of empathy. I really do. It's coming across the spectrum.
Well, can we just focus on one thing and then just sort of?
Well, we can and we should, and I guess we have to decide what it is, what that one thing is. Oh my God! Oh, Vincent, listen, I'm so sorry. I've just had a message come through.
What?
I have to. Oh my God! No, this is terrible. I've got to. I can't. Oh, no. It's well. I don't know if I'm allowed to. It's This is. I hope this doesn't trigger you, but it's a message from my mother.
Oh God.
And
at least you've got one.
And she's calling me saying she needs to speak to me urgently. So look Vincent, look, yes, definitely. So the next time we speak, and let's make it more frequent, because I think that's what our what the therapy and what will benefit from is doing this more frequently, because I think it's been a little bit haphazard up until now. But I'm really sorry, but I really have to dash, because my mother needs to. She says she needs to speak to me urgently, and I really just have to. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Did you get my list?
No. How did you send it?
Via text.
No, I'll have a look. So I guess
Okay, well,
no.
All right. Well, maybe we can do that next time.
I guess that might explain why I'm feeling a little bit listless.
Mm-hmm. Yes, as you do. All right. Well, Michael, I'll let you go see your mum.
I'm so
lucky
Vincent.
you.
I'm so
lucky you.
I'm so sorry. But listen. Let's don't be a stranger. Let's yes. So what about same time next week? How does that work for you?
Yes. Yep. Perfect.
Done.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Speak then. Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Bye. Bye.